Hello, welcome to the Gem Show. This is your host Harish. Elon Musk. You would surely know this name unless you have been living under a rock. He is one of the most successful business persons of our times and is currently the richest person on the planet. Because of his string of successes from SpaceX to Tesla to Boring Machine to Starlink and his awkward way of talking, he is considered a bit of a nerd and somewhat of an enigma due to his accomplishments. Careful media management has played a great role in shaping the image of Musk for us, ordinary mortals.
We bring you Elon Musk's latest unfiltered interview where he shares exclusive predictions about artificial intelligence, the race to Mars, and building companies that could save humanity from extinction.
Elon Musk is a dropout and a billionaire. After receiving an undergraduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania, he dropped out of the Stanford PhD program in physics. He wound up CEO of PayPal, which eBay bought for $1.5 billion in 2002. With his fortune made in the virtual world, he's created Tesla Motors and SpaceX in the real world, named for Nikola Tesla, the eccentric Serbian-born inventor of
The social media is full of such posts and videos which extol the virtues of Elon Musk and they create this larger than life image for Musk. But most of it is misleading. For example, this video talks about how Musk created Tesla. Whereas in reality, Musk came on board of Tesla after 4 or 5 years of its existence. He came as a mere investor. And later on, he usurped the company from the original founders and actually ran a legal case to get the rights of calling himself a co-founder. If you ask, maybe do a polling among 100 people, majority of people will think that Elon Musk is behind creation of founding of Tesla Motors.
alternating current, Tesla Motors will roll their first 100 all-electric cars out factory doors this summer. SpaceX, one of many new ventures aimed at commercializing outer space, was recently awarded a $278 million NASA contract to build and operate launch vehicles and crew capsules to service the International Space Station and take America back to the
I was in the camp of people liking this image of Elon Musk, a visionary technocrat businessman, a rich man who made his wealth not from inheritance, but out of his sheer brilliance. In fact, a few years back, when my 12-year-old son found a biography of Elon Musk in his school library, he asked me what I thought of Elon. And I said that Elon was among the few business leaders whom I admire.
You grew up in South Africa and you started breaking the rules.
These curated media shows have gone a long way in creating a favorable image for Musk, and they are in abundance across all social media platforms. So let's have a look at it.
Even then. So you were 6 years old and you were invited by your cousin to a birthday party. But there were two problems with that. One, you were grounded, and two, it was on the other side of town.
Yeah.
So can you explain, tell the audience how you got there?
This was when I was 6, so the memories are a little fuzzy at this point. At first I was going to take my bike, but then, and I told my mom this, which is a mistake. And she told me some story about how you needed a license for a bike and the police would stop me. So I wasn't 100% sure if that was true or not, but I thought I'd better walk just in case. So yeah, I sort of thought I knew the way, but it was clear across town. So I don't know, it was 10 or 12 miles away. It's really quite far, further than I realized actually. And so I just started walking to my cousin's house. I think it took me about 4 hours. And just as my mom was leaving that party with my brother and sister, she saw me walking down the road and freaked out. And then I saw she saw me, so I then sprinted to my cousin's house, and I was just about 2 blocks away, and then climbed a tree and refused to come down.
Oh, so the first of many.
Pretty interesting story that was. Musk has made all his money, but everything is not due to his genius tech mind. A lot of it has to do with his ability to manage media and his relations with government and deep state.
Did you know that Elon Musk makes approximately $656 per second?
So in this snippet, we will see how Elon Musk made it so big. So this snippet, which you'll be watching now, was made by Business Insider team, and they have done a fantastic job of summarizing how Musk made it big. So let's have a look at it to understand how Musk became what he is today.
According to Coin Codex, and it can add up to over $54 million in just one day. His net worth is around $200 billion. That honestly seems unfathomable. It surpasses the economic output of more than 150 countries. So where did this tech prodigy turned right-wing darling get all of his money? And how does he burn his billions? I'm Joy Marie McKenzie, Business Insider's editor-in-chief of our lifestyle division. Elon Musk's road to riches began in 1995 when he and his brother launched a website that provided city guides to newspapers. It was called Zip2, and in 1999, they sold it for over $300 million. So at just 27 years old, Musk made over $20 million from that one deal alone. He then co-founded an online
In case of Gypto, Musk has claimed that he wrote all the code, but apparently his brother has gone on record in certain interviews. He has mentioned that the company got all its code from another company which had created it, but they didn't know what to do with it. So when Musk and his brother they approached that company, they gave the code.
banking site called X.com, which later became PayPal. eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion in 2002, and Musk's fortune just skyrocketed. In the same year, he co-founded SpaceX. What is it with the sky and the letter X? But his plans for SpaceX were to colonize Mars by 2050. His biggest venture was still ahead, though. In 2004, Musk took $6.5 million and invested it into a company you might know called Tesla. He eventually became the CEO, and the company's mission, as you probably already know, is making electric cars a new way of life. That move cemented his fate as one of the world's richest people. A significant amount of Musk's net worth today is tied to Tesla, but he doesn't get his paychecks from the company. Instead, he gets shares and stock options. So far, he has a Tesla stake worth just a cool $127 billion. His net worth is around $200 billion. That includes.
So this $200 billion, which Business Insider is mentioning, has now ballooned to in excess of $500 billion now, making Musk the richest ever person in the world.
His stakes in SpaceX, X, and his Tesla holdings. And Musk's enormous wealth is still growing, even though his investments are not always profitable. A big one is SpaceX. Musk invested $100 million to create the company back in 2002, and soon it was his second most profitable venture. It eventually amounted to about 20% of his wealth. But the company has had its ups and downs. After multiple rocket launch failures, SpaceX nearly folded in 2008. That was until NASA saved the day, or at least the company, with a $1.6 billion contract to help deliver cargo to the International Space Station. These days, SpaceX is worth $180 billion, with a B, making him $70 billion richer. And I have to mention the aptly named Boring Company because it really hasn't done anything. The goal is to build underground tunnels where people can travel in their own autonomous vehicles at speeds of up to 150 miles per hour. Honestly, it sounds like a normal Texas freeway. Still, Musk started it in 2016 with over $100 million. So far, though, no one is blasting through tunnels like the subterranean speed racer. But this is Elon Musk we're talking about, so I wouldn't count him out just yet. Next up is Neuralink. Musk dropped $100 million on this idea back in 2016. The ultimate goal is implanting a brain chip in a human being that can interact with external devices. And a 29-year-old quadriplegic has tried it out. He says the brain chip is not perfect, but it has changed his life. Rounding out Elon Musk's big business ventures with what really feels like a truly impulsive purchase that he may regret later is X. You and I still know it as Twitter, though. The tech mogul snapped up Twitter for a mere $44 billion in 2022. And of course, quickly changed the name to X. Now, was this a good investment? By pure number standards, no. Absolutely not. Since its purchase and the name change, the company has lost about half of its value. But Musk has got so much money, he can afford to buy the platform and defeat what he calls the woke mind virus.
So that was quite an insight into all the money making and expenditure of Elon Musk. Now we'll go to the main item. In 2022, Elon Musk bought Twitter to give back the voice to the right, which is aka Republicans in USA and others elsewhere. And here lies the problem. While Musk identified himself with Republicans and MAGA led by Trump, he has increasingly showed his white supremacist tendencies. Musk as a mere MAGA or a Groifer in USA would not have bothered me much. But when you combine these tendencies with the fact that Elon is the richest person who owns big tech companies like SpaceX, Tesla, XAI, Starlink, Neuralink, etc., the situation becomes really scary. Today, X has become a giant propaganda machine which can influence and impact sentiments of people across different continents. Musk uses his $44 billion buy to influence other businesses and push his agenda, turning X into a giant propaganda machine.
World's richest man, no country's internal affairs are off limits. And lately, the UK has been one of Elon Musk's favourite targets.
So, Musk has used X to interfere in the affairs of nation states across the world. So, one person with a powerful tool is able to threaten elected governments across the world. If he can threaten first world countries like UK, Germany, and France, imagine how he can steamroll smaller. So, let's have a look at this report.
He used his social media platform X to call for a controversial far right leader, Tommy Robinson, to be freed from prison. Robinson is accused of provoking last summer's riots across the UK. Musk regularly singles out British Prime Minister Keir Starmer for criticism, urging his resignation and spreading lies about Starmer's work as the UK's top prosecutor in 2013. Elon Musk has also actively sought to meddle in Germany's domestic politics. With fresh elections scheduled to take place in February, Musk publicly threw his weight behind the far-right AfD party, triggering this response from Chancellor Olaf Scholz.
It's not up to the owner of social media networks to decide. It's not the person who shouts the loudest who will determine what happens next in Germany. No, it's rather the will of the decent, reasonable majority.
But could Elon Musk, whose companies include SpaceX and Tesla, be trying to boost the far right for his own economic gain?
Far right or right wing populist governments will be sympathetic to his business interests and introduce, from a regulatory point of view, it will be easier for him to run his businesses the way that he wants to do.
So, this gentleman is making a very pertinent point. So, Musk is a very smart person. He has used his influence to further his business gains. Now, with the power of X, he is able to influence the governments of different countries. Europe as a whole really prides itself for its regulations to safeguard individual rights and rights of the factory workers. Elon Musk has time and again mentioned that how he hates all kind of regulations. So by attacking the governments, trying to ensure that people who are sympathetic to his cause are elected and they come in power so that they will help his business grow.
To do in many countries, including in Europe, which has much stricter labor laws and other regulations than the US does.
Musk's crusade for deregulation has also caused him to clash with the EU. Brussels is leading a global crackdown on harmful online content, sparking a backlash from Donald Trump's right-hand man.
I saw the report that Sky News have done into.
This is a very interesting discussion with the host of LBC, a popular podcast in Britain, and Sky News journalist, wherein they are discussing how Musk has used Twitter or X's algorithms to influence the electorate in Britain and push his right wing agenda. The why I included this discussion, which is more pertinent to Britain, it's about the power of the algorithm. Today, Musk is using X to push right wing content in Britain. He can jolly well push some other content in a different country.
It continues to do for the far right. I touched on it yesterday. I've mentioned it to you on quite a few occasions, but from a very anecdotal perspective, from very much my own personal experiences. And of course, as we often observe on this program, the plural of anecdote is not data, and it is data.
What I see is X keeps pushing certain viewpoints more than the others. One set of viewpoints are highlighted, they are broadcasted, they are pushed, even though you have not liked it. So, precisely whatever these gentlemen are discussing, I personally too have experienced here in India. But let's have a look at this discussion.
That Sky News's data and forensic team have been digging into. And now we're going to find out a little bit more about exactly what it is that they've done. Tom Cheshire is the Sky News correspondent, and you will be across this. You'll understand, Tom, that I think I've done a little bit more than scratch the surface, but give my listeners an idea of precisely how much effort has gone into this and what the sort of headline discoveries are.
Yeah, it sort of starts from the idea, the suspicion that a lot of people have that X has become more right-wing since Elon Musk took it over. And, he took it over because he wanted to get rid of what he called the woke mind virus. You might sort of have that inkling, that sensation, but we didn't have the data. So for the last 9 months, we've been trying to get that data. What that has involved is setting up sort of box-fresh new accounts, each with different political leanings, letting them run for weeks, and then taking all that data, sort of 90,000 posts, and then using that's where it gets a bit technical, but using a sort of AI tool, an LLM, to classify that data and understand what's right wing, what's left wing, what's extreme content, what's non-extreme content. So getting all of that, hundreds of thousands of data points by the end, and coming up with the conclusion that actually it does look like the X algorithm, for whatever reason, is boosting right wing content. So if you're a neutral user, or the average user of all our accounts, they got sort of 62% of everything they saw was right-wing content. So not a 50-50 split or anything like that. If you're a left-wing user, you still saw a lot. And if you're a neutral user, these are accounts we set up to be non-political.
So if you are in India, you would have experienced similar kind of content being pushed or peddled by X from a certain ideology.
It's the same for the other.
Of late, I have been concerned with the power Elon exerts on communication due to his ownership of X.com and Grok. Elon Musk is not an ordinary billionaire. There is something different about him. My hunch is that he is fully ingrained into the deep state fabric of USA. Just imagine, within years of the start of his company, SpaceX, it was able to better NASA, a government space giant. And this was made entirely possible with the help of best engineers of NASA moving over to SpaceX, duly facilitated by the US government. And the government also bailed out SpaceX by giving big ticket contracts. All this was not possible without the help from deep state. Another interesting fact about Elon Musk is if you start adding all the points, it's become really concerning. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk had worked together in PayPal in late 1990s. Elon's SpaceX was funded by Peter Thiel when he badly wanted money for survival. Now, Peter Thiel's company, Palantir, is deeply embedded with the US defense and intelligence entities. It's actually the establishment. And when Elon Musk led Deutsche Governmental Agency under President Trump, the people he hired to work in Doge were mostly picked up from Palantir. So this is all twisted and mixed up. Since takeover of Twitter in 2022, Musk's views have become increasingly problematic. He has become more strident in his opinions and today sounds more like an apologist of Anglo-Saxon supremacy club. So let's have a look at what Musk has been doing, how he has been peddling various kinds of misinformation. He has been itching for a race war So there are a lot of things which are pretty alarming. I am increasingly of the view that Musk is a threat to Indian democracy. He is resourceful and a potential threat to Indians due to his Anglo-Saxon ethnocentricity. See, we are today dependent on this person's platform X, a person who is an American deep state actor for all our conversations, discussions, information, and opinions. We are today at the mercy of American deep state, which can manipulate the opinions of Indian citizens by flooding the platform with certain opinions, fake news, and whatnot. He controls India's digital public square, which ideally should be under control of people of India. With AI content reaching the realistic levels, imagine if bad actors flood X with morph videos, images. It can bring down the government, crash the markets, and bring chaos and anarchy in the country. Today, majority of people are dependent on AI, grok in case of X, to make their points. What happens if AI is trained on anti-India content or anti-government content? It's a powerful tool and ready for exploitation at the right time. And looking at the haste in which US government under Trump seems to be, that time of intervention could be now. So what could be the possible suggestions how we can counter this possible threat? My humble request to the government of India is that we need to pull the plug and wean ourselves from this poison. We need to have our own microblogging platform. We can't be dependent on others. We need to learn from China, who have banned all kind of foreign microblogging platforms. They have their own administrators. They have their own local alternative called Vivo. If we wish to quickly implement this, we can revive Coup, which died out because of lack of funding. It was coming as a viable alternative for X or Twitter back then, but we couldn't invest in enough in that platform, and for the lack of few $1 million, it had to shut itself down. But we need to make this kind of investment to keep our freedom from foreign interventions. We need to ensure that any kind of a platform which basically controls our discourse has to be in hands of Indian people, in hands of Indian companies, and under Indian government control. The opposition members might object to it, but my only contention is it's better to have a control in Indian state which has its own checks and balances instead of vesting our control with a foreign nation which can be inimical to our interest. And adding to this point, my suggestion is that we should not allow foreign media, especially their local language editions in India. Look at the state of BBC, which is a British government media agency, how they were caught manipulating the points made by the president of United States of America. So there is no point in allowing BBC Hindi or BBC Urdu, BBC Punjabi, etc., or even Deutsch DW Hindi, and so many other foreign government controlled media players in India. So we must take control of our digital public square. Letting Musk or other foreigners to control it is akin to putting our neck in our enemy's hand. And with this, we come to the end of the program. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Do like and subscribe and share this video with your friends for more such content in future. Thank you.